And we are doing our building condition survey now. So we're hoping that the voters will approve a capital reserve to be created, to be funded up to a total amount of $8 million. And then once we have that funding, we would then go back to the voters. Our facilities committee is going to look through our building condition survey, kind of try and prioritize things, and get a project together that we could bring to the voters and ask to use that money for. So that's also an important point to remember. Even if we get the capital reserve approved, we cannot spend the money without getting it approved by the voters. So no matter what we do, we can't just take the money and run. We have to design a project that has the backing of the voters and understanding that we're trying to maintain the facilities appropriately. So slide 8. If you want to hear more about this, we'll be presenting it again at our school board meeting tomorrow night, the budget hearing at the Woodstock Elementary School. The vote is on May 17th from 2 to 9 at all 4 of our elementary buildings. West Hurley is still a polling place. And there are 3 things to be voted on: the proposed budget, the capital reserve proposition, which is actually listed here the way it will appear on the ballot, because of course it can't be in simple terms, it has to be in legalese. And then we also have our Board of Education trustee election. And this is kind of a different year in that because of different trustee resignations, we actually have 5 seats that are up to be voted on. All 5 current sitting board members in those seats are running, and then we have 2 additional people running. Did I do okay on my time?
Oh, you did great. Any board members have any questions? Anybody from the public have any questions?
You know what, I have a question.
Yes.
How has the student body changed in the last 5 years as far as number of students?
It's really slowed down, the decline that we've had. I don't know the numbers off the top of my head. We're at about 1,350 right now. But for a while, it was pretty drastic each year, but it's slowed down.
And what was the highest number we ever had?
I don't know the highest number we've ever had, but when I arrived, it was a little over 2,000, and that was about 11 years ago.
So it's declined considerably.
It did. There were a number of years when we were graduating well over 200 and getting in, 100 to 120. And right now, that seems to be kind of our average class size.
In 1999, it was over 2,400.
1999.
And we are by no means the exception. Unfortunately, around the county, all of the districts have really lost.
Well, with that being said, then, how come the budget keeps going up? Wouldn't that, because of less students, it should be less money?
Well, we did reduce the budget a few years ago when we redistricted, and reconfigured.
That's not good enough. I had an Italian grandmother and a German grandmother, and they both said the same thing in the depressions, which we're in. Sacrifice, do without, and make do with what you have. Especially the German, she was the type.
I understand, I'm half German.
Well, then you should know.
I do. Well, unfortunately, we do still have all the state mandates, and we have all the requirements, and we have all of our contractual obligations,
But you see what's going on all over the country, all over.
We do.
Look at Kingston. Kingston's a mess. All these empty houses. IBM went out. That was the biggest breadwinner for us.
Yep.
It's
But
gone.
if you do look around, you would see that we have the lowest tax rate in probably the 3 surrounding counties at the very least.
Yeah.
I think we're very fortunate in that.
No, we've got to do better. I'm telling you. I don't know how people are going to do it. There's no money. A lot of people on fixed incomes, they can't hack it.
It's difficult. One of the things that I think we all get frustrated about is that not just consumers, but school districts have absolutely no control over rising healthcare costs. You get told what your insurance will cost you. You get told what the percentage increase will be, and there's no negotiating. And it goes
Why
up
is there
and
no
up.
negotiating? Well, why not?
Well, like a consumer, if I'm covered by, let's say, MVP, and I get a letter in January saying we're raising your rates rates by 7%, that's, I can't fight that, but, you know, Victoria can speak to that better than I, because she's been doing this a long time. But it's one of the very frustrating things.
And then with the cost of oil now, it should be a lot cheaper to run the boilers with the cost of oil.
We had a
Half the price.
significant savings this year, yes.
Did I understand you got about 1,350 students?
Yes.
With that budget, that's over $39,000 per student.
What?
Yeah, it's $39,000 per student. You can go to any private school for that kind of money.
Yeah. You're absolutely correct. It's very expensive.
Lastly, I'd like to ask actually with Cassidy here. Has the school strengthened its efforts in drug education for the kids and awareness and so on and so forth? And have they put any more money into that considering the high rise of heroin addiction, opiate addiction?
We have been working on doing that, and Cass has actually been a speaker in our district multiple times at this point. And we've been working very hard to raise awareness. They are revamping the curriculum at the elementary levels. And it is indeed a priority. It's a priority for our Board of Education and for our administration.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Now we'll move on to committee reports. Ambulance. Mr. Harrington. You wouldn't mind moving the mic back to the center of the...
I have to use it.
Yep.
My voice is loud.
So I want to brush off that shirt.
What's that? Yeah. Total calls received were 34. Mutual aid was given once to the Woodstock Fire District. We received mutual aid no times throughout the month. Even though we were in the middle of a rain-soaked week, please be sure to adhere to the DEC burn ban until next month, or later if it's extended, which right now is a distinct possibility. Are there any, as there are allowable types of fires, this does not mean you shouldn't remain aware of the surroundings and exercise diligence even if you have a small campfire. Please have some sort of extinguishment tool if you are having a campfire, a shovel bucket, water, a garden hose, and do not have fires next to highly combustible dry foliage. If it isn't green, keep the fire away. We seemingly dodged the bullet with the Muddy Brook fire as compared to our neighbors to the south at Stamps Point, but that certainly does not mean it couldn't happen here. Please be careful. Speaking of our neighbors, Olive First Aid Squad, our closest neighbor to the east, has made the transition from a volunteer squad to a fully career squad, much like Shandaken secondary to their lack of volunteers. All will be remaining basic life support and relying primarily upon mobile life support from Kingston to provide paramedic level care. As we've seen a surge of mutual aid responses in the past few months, we now anticipate that number to decrease. A contractual agreement to provide backup paramedic level coverage when requested is still in the works and will be presented to the town board in the future. We wish all of the best of luck in their new endeavor and look forward to great working relationships with their new faces as we have for years in the past.
Thank you. Please.
Okay, so April 2016, 171 calls for service, 5 arrests and 26 tickets issued. But more importantly, 2 things I want to talk about tonight. One, our full-time guys handled the case this month, which really was, they weren't given a lot to work with. The victim was really, really cooperative, thank God, which we don't get too often. But Detective Holland, Officer Benacosta, Officer Neer, and Officer Tui put together a nothing case, and they actually made an arrest and recovered a stolen firearm out of a house. So it was impressive watching them work together as a team. Excuse me. And just reiterate the importance of having full-time guys here, because these guys are here every day. Officer Tui come in, Detective Holland would say, hey, I need you to do this, this, and this for me tonight, because this person's here in town tonight. And it was really great to watch them work as a team. And like I said, they did recover a stolen firearm. The other thing is, and I'll just direct my comments to the public. You guys are looking at the Cassandra standing up here talking about the Perry program, Police Assisted Addiction Recovery Initiative, and saying, oh my God, is an addict really going to walk into a police station? Well, they are. The first meeting that we attended was about 3-4 months ago, and the chief from the Cooperstown Police Department, who is running the Perry program in his jurisdiction, had considerable success. From a 3-month period, he actually had 41 people come in, and he was able to steer them and get them into the treatment that they need. And that is really Cooperstown, the town itself. If anybody's ever been there, it's small, like the town of Shandaken. Woodstock is considerably bigger than what that is. So it worked. The program really does work. It's not going to work unless we get volunteers, though. So it's very important. You know, a couple months ago, after we had that tragedy in town, this place was packed with people that wanted something done. Now's the time. This is what you can do to help us, to help this problem, is to volunteer and be an angel. Cass left me some literature on the angels and some job descriptions. And certainly, if anybody wants to talk to me about it, I'd be more than happy to talk to them about it. I actually had a call this week from a couple of people looking to volunteer. However, they had some concerns, obviously. So I was able to put those concerns to rest for them. And they are planning on going to the informational meeting next month. So very important. The program is not going to work without volunteers. Okay, thanks.
Thanks.
Ted, do you think you can expand to Shandaken?
Absolutely. Yep. It really depends on the volunteer base.
You would have to overflow in Woodstock to get here?
No, not necessarily. You know, Officer Neer's here tonight. He's actually going to be our administrator for the program. So more volunteers we get, the better. If somebody walks in and comes up to us, we'll be able to steer them in the right direction as well. Okay.
I'm a little confused because they said they were looking for volunteers within 20 minutes of Woodstock.
Right.
So, say, I live in Big Indian, I can't get to Woodstock in 20 minutes,
Well,
especially if you're watching.
listen, if you know, the 20-minute thing is important because, you know, the person is really in the station looking for help, and you don't want them sitting and waiting. However, you know, if it is 25 minutes, then so be it. Or you need a ride, we'll get you a ride. Okay?
But Phoenicia is really 20 minutes.
Phoenicia's not.
And Mount Kemper is.
We get you that.
Alfred, finish your
See.
Good evening. According to Rick, everything is functioning correctly. Whatever leaks there were in the winter have been fixed. But his vehicle is still in dire straits. It's got more rust than anything else in the town of Shandaken. But he told me tonight he'd be happy to settle for an Escalade pickup, just to fix. Right? So keep that in the back of your mind. Next meeting is on the 18th.
Well, where?
At the library.
At the library, yes.
Alfred, what about Porsche Cayenne?
I didn't settle for that, I'm sure. An S model. Right?
Thank you, Adam.
But he really needs a pickup. George.
No report from Pine Water Museum.
There were 52 guests for the months of March and April at our museum. We have received books that are for sale of a Pine Hill native, D.F. Hasbrook, a local artist, and our director Kathleen Myers has put together a display of his time spent at Pine Hill. Kathleen is also working on a spring theme that includes fishing, camping, and hiking. We also hosted a Native American gathering at the museum. Kathleen, our director, Rusty Moore, and I attended a gathering of local town and county historians that was held at the Catskill Interpretive Center in Mount Tremper this past Saturday. Most of the towns in Ulster County, as well as Lexington and Hunter from Greene, and bear with me, only one hand works. and Middletown, and Andes from Delaware County were represented. The meeting was hosted by the Catskill Center for Conservation and Development in Arkville. It was a Catskill Mountain specific, and how can we collaborate together to bring our rich history to the forefront and hopefully would include our schools. We also welcome two new board members, Doris,
Yes.
thank you, and Frank Spina. I would like to close with our mission. Our mission is to help preserve the history of our hamlets and villages within the town of Shandaken and the people that lived here. We collect, preserve, and interpret items from the Catskill Mountains. We document and disseminate information on the history of our town. Through this, we hope to share information on our ancestors with other museums, local residents, schools, and visitors. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. And lastly, welcome back, Marty. You have a report for recreation. Before you start, I want to extend thanks to Chief Chad Story, Aaron Bennett, and Will Doyle, who helped to put the fence capping on the Glenbrook Park field over the weekend, which was not an easy task. It was a lot of fun trying to figure out the tool to put the thing on there. But it's complete, it's on, it just needs some zip ties. We got a bunch of kids that are going to be up there doing labor. So,
Scrimmage game tomorrow night at 5:30.
very good. So thank you to these guys for doing that. It's not an easy chore.
Yes. There you go again. Hi. We do have a meeting coming up for the Parks and Rec Board this next week, Thursday, May 12th, 3 p.m. here at Town Hall. Thanks to Rob's help, you may already know, we got a $5,000 matching grant from O'Connor that will go towards improvements in Smith Park. And I'm hoping you'll get more good news grant you went after for us. So we're very excited because we have lots to do and some money to do.
With that, we'll move on to public comments and resolutions.
There's no comments. We have no motions, so we can move right on to resolutions.
Resolution 9016, resolution to pay all bills. Whereas the Department of Audit and Control require town boards to sign and inspect all vouchers coming into the town for payment to number and total amounts from each fund. Therefore, be it resolved that the town board authorize the following vouchers paid. General, $33,492.76. Highway, $32,470.52. Phoenicia Water, $6,509.04. Pine Hill Water, $11.33. Phoenicia Lights, $919.98. Chichester Lights, $134.85. Pine Hill Lights, $536.12 for a total of $74,074.60. And I move its adoption.
I'll second.
Board Member Albert?
Yes.
Board Member Isabelle?
Yes.
Board Member Malloy?
Yes.
Board Member Storm? Yes. Supervisor Finley?
Yes.
Resolution 9116, authorizing final disbursement of grant funds from emergency grant for Bridge Street water main replacement. Whereas the town of Shandaken owns and operates a municipal water system located in the hamlet of Phoenicia Water District. Whereas the Phoenicia Water District has endured a catastrophic failure of an 8-inch water main crossing the Bridge Street Bridge in Phoenicia due to extreme cold temperatures. And whereas, under Town of Shandaken Resolution 6815 of 2015, authorized the town supervisor to apply for a United States Department of Agricultural Emergency Community Water Assistance Grant, USDA EWAC, and whereas the town has received a letter from USDA EWAC that the town has primarily been awarded said grant for the $150,000 maximum. Whereas the town is satisfied with the work completed in December 2015 to repair the main, and whereas there is a certain amount of monies being held and retained until the town is content the work is complete to their satisfaction. Therefore, be resolved that the town of Shandaken Town Board does hereby authorize the final disbursement of $9,197 $9,197.58 from the USDA EWAC monies to Merrick Construction Company. And be it further resolved, the town board does hereby authorize the town supervisor to execute any documents necessary for said disbursement of USDA EWAC monies. And I move its adoption.
Second.
Board Member Alba?
Yes.
Board Member Discipline?
Yes.
Board Member Malloy?
Yes.
Board Member Storm?
Yes.
Supervisor Daniel?
Yes.
Resolution 9216, resolution advertising request for proposal to hire engineer for $415,000 community development block grant awarded to Phoenicia Water District. Whereas the town of Shandaken owns and operates the Phoenicia Water District located in and around the hamlet of Phoenicia, and whereas the town of Shandaken is in receipt of a $415,000 community development block grant, CDBG, from the Office of Homes and Community Renewal, OHCR, for upgrades to and for the Phoenicia Water District. And whereas the award includes funding allocated for expenses associated with engineering activities, and whereas the town board has created a request for qualifications, RFQ, attached, in order to seek qualified personnel or individuals to assist in engineering services necessary for this grant. And whereas the town will appoint a review committee to rank firms or individuals based on their respective submittals for said purposes in order to make recommendation to the town board in accordance with OHCR requirements. Therefore, be it resolved that the town of Shandaken advertise for an engineer to assist the town board in processing the grant and any and all projects associated with the CDBG grant. And be it further resolved that any persons interested in applying for such work should supply the appropriate reference materials and other requested documentation in accordance with the supporting RFQ. Copies of the RFQ can be found at the town clerk's office, 7209 Route 28, P.O. Box 67, Shandaken, New York, 12480, and on the town website, www.shandaken.us. All submissions must be received in the same office no later than 12 p.m. on Monday, May 23rd, 2016. All submissions will be opened at a special town board meeting on Monday, May 23rd, 2016 at 1 p.m. The town of Shandaken reserves the right to reject any and all bids and move its adoption.
Second.
Board Member Alba?
Yes.
Board Member Discipline?
Yes.
Board Member Malloy?
Yes.
Board Member Storm?
Yes.
Supervisor Daniel?
Yes.
Resolution 93-16, accept bids for Lower Birch Creek Bridge replacement, FEMA. Whereas pursuant to Resolution 86-16, the Town of Shandaken Town Board advertised for bids for Lower Birch Creek Bridge replacement. Whereas bids clearly marked on envelope Lower Birch Creek Bridge replacement were received at the Town Clerk's Office, Shandaken Town Hall, 7209 Route 28, P.O. Box 67, Shandaken, New York, 12480, no later than 3 p.m. on May 2nd, 2016, to be opened at the regular town board meeting scheduled for 7 p.m. that evening. The town board reserves the right to reject any or all bids. Therefore, be it resolved that the following bids were received and accepted as qualified bidders. I move its adoption.
Second.
Yeah, okay, so we got 5 bids, then you go to your next sheet, you go to the checklist.
Yep.
We received bids from Evergreen, Kingston Equipment, J. Mullen, New Century, and Tweedy. Do them in order. First one is Evergreen. Okay, Evergreen, $536,872. And it's Evergreen Mountain Contracting, 25 Evergreen Mountain Road, West Hill, New York, $536,872. Second one is from Kingston Equipment. Located at 78 Stone Road, West Hurley, New York, $503,400. 503,400. And next one, go to book. J. Mullen and Sons, 997 Kings Highway, Saugerties, New York. Jay Mullen is watching. This is annoying. Where's him at? There's no number. Jay Mullen and Sons is $741,620.08. Yeah. $741,620.08. Number 4 is from New Century Construction, 11 Arch Street, Waterville, New York. $544,400. And last one's from Tweedy Construction. And they're at 90 Crystal Creek Road, Walton, New York. $527,047.
Okay, it says,
So who wants a second?
I'll second it.